times we don't know what being bound up looks like. Because I say this all of the time, that just because you normalize something doesn't mean it's normal. And so what happens is a lot of times we don't recognize that we are in a state of torment. We don't recognize that we've been bound up. We don't recognize that something has been agitating our atmosphere because we've normalized being sad and being depressed and being oppressed. And we've normalized feeling bad about ourselves and not liking ourselves. We've normalized just feeling like we're not anybody. We've allowed torment to live on us and live in us and live with us. And so again, just because you normalize something doesn't mean it's normal. And I can't wait for you all to begin to see images of what freedom truly looks like, because we understand that whom the Son sets free is free indeed. And so I realized though that one of the things that was in common with everybody is that nobody had really taken the time to walk them through and to help them and walk them to their torment and look their tormentor in the eye and declare some things and be released from some things. Thank you all that are joining. Welcome. Continue to share. It's going to be off the chain tonight. And so I realized that this spirit of torment, this not so visible villain, this emotional bully, this accuser of the brethren has attached itself to so many men and women in so many different areas, and it doesn't matter, and it didn't matter about age or race or gender or position. All I know is that the tormentor had been tormenting long enough, and this past weekend's activity, we were able to silence it. But the Lord showed me something. He said, no, we're going to take this a step further, because I'm going to give you a prophetic get free formula, because there are some people that need to get free from these tormenting mindsets and the spirit of torment, the demon of torment, and generational curses masquerading as torment, masquerading as generational curses and poverty mentalities and misguided mindsets. And so torment, and a lot of people are not in a place where they feel like they can be free. Because a lot of the times we feel guilty for not being free. We feel bad for, and we judge ourselves for allowing our minds, our spirits, our hearts, our emotions to have been conflicted for so long. But it's time to be free. And so I'm so excited about, I'm going to teach tonight about torment, because I want us to understand about torment. I want you to be aware of what tormentors do, how they try to capture you. And so we're going to deal with that. But I'm so excited this Sunday. I'm so grateful and so blessed to be able to offer something that if you are tethered to a tormentor, we're going to deal with tethered in just a moment. This Sunday at 6:30 p.m., I'm doing a prophetic live virtual webinar where I will be walking you through the freedom, the get free formula, so that you no longer have to be tormented. I made sure that it was affordable. It's only $47. Grab your spot at goregisternow.com, because I don't want you to miss this. I believe, and I'm going to release the breaker's anointing, because we're going to break the spirit of torment, and I'm going to prophesy. And I believe that supernatural deliverance after I teach this webinar is going to take place. And so we're going to come, and I'm going to teach this webinar. I'm going to actually give you a strategy, a spiritual strategy for supernatural breakthrough. And I'm going to teach, and I'm going to give you the word, and I'm going to actually give you instructions and information. But then at the end, as a bonus, we're going to do impartation. And I'm just going to allow the breaker's anointing to sit in the building and flow. And so if you know that you need to be free, or you want some clear instructions, because here's what I know: a lot of the times we'll get in prophetic environments and we'll get excited, and our hearts will flutter, and we'll feel the wind. But when we're done, we don't know how to win. We don't know how to. We'll feel the wind and not know how to win, and we don't know how to get the instructions and the information that we need to walk us through and to keep us in a place of deliverance and keep us in a place of healing and wholeness. I see some of you. I was going to ask if you guys have already signed up. Put it in the comments. Let me know that you're in. And if you're going to sign up, put it in the comments. I need to know who all is going to be there Sunday. And let me know. But if you're in a place where you want to not just get free, but stay free, I'm going to actually be teaching and giving prophetic instruction and information and giving you biblical sound doctrine, and a formula to help you get free and stay free. And then to seal it, we're going to do a bonus impartation at the end, so that you can feel the winds of deliverance. And I'm going to release the prophetic winds, that I believe is going. You signed up, you're signing up. I see y'all in the comments. I'm so excited, so excited. Usually when we get in these atmospheres, you never know what is going to happen. And I'm so grateful for getting the revelation about the strategy for getting free. Because here's what I want to talk about tonight. I want to talk about, are you tethered to a tormentor? You'll be there. I appreciate you guys. Are you tethered to a tormentor? Because sometimes we don't even understand that we're tethered to tormentors. So let's because the webinar, you'll get the get free formula at the webinar. But tonight I want to deal with being tethered to tormentors. So let's talk about this for a while. Let's talk about being tethered, and let's talk about tormentors. So I don't know if you were able to watch Jordan Peele's horror movie that came out a few years ago, called Us. And the movie was called Us, but this movie had everything. There was a commonality, a common theme, a common thread that was woven through this movie, and it had everything to do with being tethered. And so one of the symbols throughout this entire movie, as they were marketing, was a symbol of scissors, and you saw these scissors that were shown throughout the entire movie. And because the Bible says that he'll use the foolish things of the world to confound the wise. And so the Lord gave me a revelation about this movie that really showed me about why people, especially kingdom people, are living in torment. We want to live lives of wholeness and financial security, and we want to have joy and peace, and we want healthy relationships and a healthy, stable mind, but we're constantly being tormented. And it has everything to do with how we're tethered and what we're tethered to. And so in this horror movie by Jordan Peele called Us, there were two realities, and I want y'all to catch this tonight. There were two realities. There was an over the ground reality, and there was an underground reality. There was a reality that everybody could see, and there was a reality that nobody could see. But there was something that happened. So there was one girl. This movie, if you aren't familiar with the movie, it's about a family. And this family is going on a trip, but the place that they're going is a place of familiarity. The main character, the wife in this movie, she doesn't want to go on this trip, because if she goes on this trip, she has to be taken back to a place that she thought she had left. I want y'all to catch this revelation. If she went on this trip, it was going to bring her back to something that had been tormenting her for her entire life. There was an origin, because your torment has an origin. Man, can y'all put that in the comments? My torment has an origin. There's a birthing place. When you've been tormented, you have to, if you trace the tree, you'll be able to reveal the root. I'm dropping mics tonight. If you trace the tree, you'll be able to reveal the root. And she realized in this movie that her torment had an origin, and she knew where this origin was. She was aware that this origin was in a specific place. And so she didn't want to go back to this place, because she recognized that her torment had an origin. She could trace the tree and reveal the place where this torment started. She didn't want to go there. But her family said, we want to go back to this place. And so the entire time she was going, you could see in the movie, she was just being tormented. You could see the spirit of fear and the spirit of anxiety. And she was nervous, and she was overwhelmed. She was distracted. She was looking over her shoulder. She was jumping at because she was tormented. And so she had to go back to this place, this origin where the torment began. And so they go to this place, and she couldn't help being nervous. And she told her husband, I want to get out of here. And so they went to the beach. And on this particular beach, there was this strange place. There was this house of mirrors. There was a fair that took place on this beach. And in this place, there was this hall of mirror, this house of horrors that had all of these mirrors. And she had a flashback, and she remembered that when she was young, she went to this place and she got lost. She went into this place, man, y'all better catch this prophetic revelation, where she could see herself, but she was not able to find herself. Let me let that sit for a minute. She went into a place where she could see herself, but she couldn't find herself. For the people in the back, I hope y'all are sharing, because this is going to be real good real quick tonight. She goes into this place, and it was full of mirrors, and she could see herself, but she couldn't find herself. And she noticed that she was able to get in, but she started having a hard time getting out. And she started getting distracted by the different images of what she believed she looked like. Let me tell you something about this house of mirrors. What happens in a house of mirrors is that each mirror distorted her view of herself. I didn't know I was gonna drop these nuggets, but I just that's what happens when you're a conduit. She gets into this hall of mirrors, and in each one of the different mirrors, she looked different and distorted. So she could see herself, but she couldn't find herself. And she looked in one mirror, and one mirror told her she was too fat. And she looked in one mirror, and one mirror told her she was too skinny. And she looked in one mirror, and her head was too big. And she looked in another mirror, and her head was too small. She looked in the mirrors, and she saw distorted images of what she was supposed to be. And so she could see herself, but she couldn't find herself. She was saying, where is the real me? I can't find everything I'm looking at. It's me, but it's not me. And it created torment. And so now, because there was torment, now I'm frantic. Now I'm tormented because I can't find myself. I thought I was going after what I thought I looked like, but the closer I got, the more I realized that I'm dysfunctional, I'm distorted, I'm discombobulated. I'm disgusted with what I see. I'm tormented. I see me, but I don't like what my reflection reveals. Whew, this thing is real tonight. I see me, but I don't like what my reflection reveals. And so she's in the house of horrors, and she's being tormented. And she finally comes to a place where she says, I think I see me. I've looked here and I've looked there and I've looked distorted, but I think I can finally see me. And so she goes a little closer. And she says, yeah, we look alike. That's got to be me. We have the same hair, and we have the same skin, and we're about the same height. I think this is who I am. And she gets closer and closer, only to realize this is not a reflection. This is another part of the same person. She was facing the dark side of herself. Ooh, man, I'm teaching this thing. Listen, if I'm teaching this thing, I see y'all in the comments. Can y'all just holler at me, teach Dr. E? Because I'm in this thing. I just did the art of storytelling with some of the people that were in my course this weekend. So I hope they're seeing the manifestation of this. And so she's in the house of horrors. This little girl, she travels into this house of horrors, a bunch of mirrors, and she sees all these distorted reflections of herself, and she is discombobulated and fearful, and then she finally, I see y'all in the comments, she finally sees who she thinks she is, and she says, finally, I found myself. And she gets closer, and she said, yeah, that's me. But all of a sudden, the thing on the other side of what she thought was her reflection grabbed her by the throat and began to crush the life out of her. Ooh. She realized, this is not my reflection. This is actually me. Wait a minute, I'm being tormented by something that is actually connected to me. I'm being tormented by something, and the results reveal that this is actually an extension of who I actually am. I'm tormented by something that lives on the inside of me. Oh my God, and the revelation came clear. This is the dark side of me, the side of me that had been living underneath the surface, the hidden part of me, the part of me I didn't want anybody to be associated with, the part of me. And see, this other part of her had been living in the sewer. Woo, y'all better hear this. This other part of her had been living subpar. But one day they met up. She came face to face in the mirror and recognized that her tormentor had the same eyes she had. Oh, y'all better catch this. Had the same smile that she had. Her tormentor was the dark side of her. And so this woman, she has this flashback and she remembers my tormentor. And so now as an adult, she's in the place, the birth origin of her torment. I said at the beginning that every tormentor has an origin, and she's here and she tells her husband, get me out of here. I don't want to be here anymore because I'm being tormented. And the thing that's tormenting me, I realize it looks like me. It sounds like me. I hid it for so long. Y'all better hear this. I hid it up underneath the surface. I thought maybe if I didn't talk about it, I thought maybe if I kept it hidden, I thought maybe if nobody saw it, I thought if I kept the lights off, you wouldn't be able to see, but I'm still being tormented by me. So they began to leave. The husband says, well, all right, let's get out of here. And he opens the door because his son says, wait a minute. There's something outside. And it looks menacing. There are people outside in our driveway. And they look just like us. Man, there are people that's right in the, we can't leave because there are some people right, and they look just like us. So they look out the door and there's this man that looks just like the husband, and a woman that looks just like the wife, and a girl that looks just like the daughter, and a boy that looks just like the son. And they come face to face with the other side of themselves. And these tormentors who look just like them come into the house. Ooh. They come into the house and they sit down, and the first thing that they did, y'all better hear this message tonight, because I'm going to reveal to you what tormentors do. Some of you don't even realize you've been tethered to tormentors. And four things that tormentors do as I work this text, as I tell this story. Tormentors first bind you. So these tormentors come into this place, and they, first thing they did, they put the mom in handcuffs. And then the mom is now bound up. The tormentor, who looks like the dark side of her, she had to come face to face with the ugly part of her. Woo, the part of her that was torn, the part of her that was tattered, the part of her whose voice was raggedy, the part of her whose face didn't look that good, the part of her whose hair was matted up. She looked like her, but she looked like her on her worst day. She looked like the her who had been through some things, who didn't make it out good. So the tormentor looks at her, and the tormentor tells her a story. And she says, while you were on the upside, living your best life, getting married to the man of your dreams, up under the surface, I was being tethered to a nightmare. While you were giving birth to your beautiful daughter, I gave birth to a demon who came out smiling in an evil way, and she would only laugh in a very evil way. And while you were giving birth to your prince, your son, I birthed the boy who was disfigured. Everything that you did, I was doing it too. But I was doing it, and I was paired with the pain. I was being terrorized and tortured by the torment while you were up here looking like you were living your best life and smiling on the outside. The part of you up underneath was crying. It was being tormented and tortured while you were up here, and everybody saw how great your life was, there was a part of you that was feeling abused and neglected and full of destruction and despair. But the reason why you feel uneasy, the reason why you can't get free, the reason why you've been stuck in a place emotionally and stuck in a place spiritually and stuck in a place mentally is because we're tethered together. Because the second thing your tormentors do, number one, they bind you, but number two, they confine you. When you're tethered to a tormentor, they confine you to a place. They say to you, you'll never be but this happy. They confine you to you'll never be but this successful. You'll never have but this limited amount of joy. Tormenting confines you. It rations out just how well you can do, just how far you can go, just how much you're able to actually have, because tormentors, they bind and then they confine you. And they keep you into a place where you say, I can never be as good as him. I can never be as beautiful as her. I can never make as much money as them. I can never. Because my tormentor is tethered to me. I can't escape what I've been through. I can't escape the abuse. I'll never escape what bound me up. I will never escape what scarred me. Tethered to torment. And so this tormentor tells her, so we're bound together. So I want you to know that because we are the same, I've decided to take your place. I'm going to redefine myself and I'm going to put you down so that I can now live in the sun. The tormentor said to her, she said, it's time for me to have my place in the sun. You've lived in the sun long enough, but now I'm going to redefine you. And you now get to go down under so I can be free. The third thing your tormentor wants to do is redefine you. Your tormentor wants to change your name from joy to sorrow. It wants to say, you've carried me for so long. You've cultivated me. You've birthed me. You've carried me. Now I've gotten some strength. See, here's the point. Ooh, y'all better catch this. When you're tethered to your tormentor, and you think that you're keeping it under wraps, you're keeping silent, you're keeping quiet. I don't want to talk about what I've been through. I don't want to cause no trouble. I don't want to ruffle any feathers. You're giving your tormentor time to gain strength over you. Because the Bible says that the devil comes. He's seeking, he's going about the earth, tormenting, seeking who he can devour. He wants to kill, steal, and destroy. The Bible says in Revelation that the accuser of the brethren, he's going about like a lion. He's waiting. He wants to accuse you. He's gaining strength. And the longer that you're tethered to your tormentor, they gain power. They gain strength. They decide to say, you know what? I'm tired of living beneath the surface. It's time for me to shine. And all of a sudden you wonder, why is it that grief has decided to rear up in me? I used to be happy, but see, tormentors come to redefine you. No, you won't be joy anymore. You're going to be full of grief and sorrow. Tormentors redefine you. They say, oh, you thought you were going to live in the sun. No, it's my turn. Fear says, you know what? I'm redefining you. You're not going to be bold anymore. No, that's who you used to be. But now it's my turn in the sun. So fear is saying, hey, I'm out here now. It's my day. Doubt says, oh, okay, you thought you were just going to have all this faith? Oh, no, now I'm going to make you doubt everything about yourself. It's my time in the sun. See, your tormentor has been tethered to you for so long that it's gained traction and it says, no, it's my turn. In the movie Us, the tormentor had said, because you stayed tethered to me, because I saw how you were out here trying to live your best life, I decided it's my turn. All I could dream about was making a plan. All I could think about was stalking you and traumatizing you and tormenting you and terrorizing you because we're tethered. Until one day, the tormentor decided, no, I'm not hiding anymore. I'm coming out. And so you wonder, what is this poverty mentality doing? manifesting in my life because you were tethered to torment? What are these generational curses? How is it that they're coming alive? I'm seeing them reflected in my children because you were tethered to torment. What is this about this mindset, this thing, this fear, this anxiety, this overwhelm? Why is it showing up now in my broken relationships? What's happening? Because I'm tethered to torment. And so this terrorizer comes to the surface, and this woman has to look at her tormentor face to face because they look like each other. And so, number one, the tormentor comes to bind. Number two, the tormentor came to confine. Number three, the tormentor came to redefine. And number four, the tormentor comes to misalign you, to get you out of alignment. The tormentor decided in this movie, she said, you don't get to keep doing things the way you were doing it. You think you're just going to keep moving towards your purpose? You think you're going to just be happy and be wealthy and be happy with your family and be financially stable? No, I'm getting you out of alignment. I'm getting you out the way so that I can show up. Tormentors come to misalign you. You know what happens when your car is your tires and your wheels are misaligned? You get off course. And so when tormentors come, they come to misalign you. They come to say, you gotta go. I don't want you walking towards wholeness. Oh, you think you just gonna walk towards emotional stability? You think you just gonna walk towards walking? No, I need you to get off track. No wonder these relationships are failing. No wonder you are having false starts. No wonder you don't have the belief in yourself to move forward in your purpose. No wonder you're scared of opportunities. No wonder you won't walk out on faith. This is what happens when you're tethered to a tormentor. And so something had to happen. This woman decided she could do a few things. She could fight. She could take flight. She could freeze, or she could try to appease. She could fight. She could take flight. She could freeze, or she could try to appease her tormentor. Think about how many years you've appeased your tormentor. And when we think about tormenting and tormentors, we usually attribute it to a person. But missed opportunities is a tormentor. Failure is a tormentor. Accusation is a tormentor. Messing up is a tormentor. An abortion, I feel a prophetic wind, is a tormentor. Bankruptcy is a tormentor. Divorce is a tormentor. No wonder. Somebody just asked for me to post Zelle or PayPal. Blessings to you all. May the winds of favor follow you for your seed. If you want to sow, and I promise you guys I didn't get up here to do that, but the Lord convicted me with never, if someone asked for an opportunity to sow into a word, to allow the winds to be released to them. So you can go to the Givers link if you want to sow. TheGiverslink, the Givers link, and there's PayPal and Cash App and Zelle and all that good stuff. So if you would like to, I'll pray a special blessing over anybody that wants to sow into that word. But torment, our tormentors, they look like they are mamas. They look like our dads, but there's really a spirit of rejection. That's the real tormentor. There's really a spirit of abandonment. That's the real tormentor. There's really broken trust. That's the real tormentor. There's the spirit of accusation. That's the real tormentor. We think the tormentors look like people who told us we weren't good enough and pretty enough or smart enough or powerful enough. And so all these years we've carried people and they manifested, but truly your soul is tied to the scar. So we say, I need to be free of soul ties. Well, your soul is tied to the sorrows of another person's soul, because that's why we hurt people, hurt people, hurt people. Broken people break people. Angry people anger people. So we're tied to tormentors and we're tethered. And it's like we look good on the surface and we're going through the motions on the surface, but that dark side of us that we're tethered to is underneath it. But I declare and decree that it's time to be free. It's time to get free. I've often said that sometimes the best decree you can make, the decree of freedom, is a benediction. May the Lord watch between me and thee while we're absent, one from another. The next time or another time, you break free of the torment because you come out of alignment and out of agreement with it. You wear it like a badge, but it's really a burden. And so you come out of agreement with the tormentor. I don't agree with you, tormentor. I am not a liar. I am not what I did. I am not my past. I am not my sin. I am not my mistake. I am not my mama. I'm not my dad. I am not my missed opportunities. I come out of agreement with you. And sometimes you got to cast that bad boy down, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of Christ. And you bring him into captivity. And so came on tonight because I wanted you to be aware of the tormentor again. And listen, I've been teaching about misdiagnosed doors. I don't ever want you to miss your door. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to come on here and share tonight and speak freedom. But I